Hey YouTube, Mike the Alpha Hoarder here. Hope you all had a nice holiday. Mine was good. Time with family is always priceless, especially when you got little kids around. I've said it before, but one of the gifts of having children is sort of remembering what the world was like when you were little. We take so much for granted as we get older. But I had a lot of fun. And here we are at the end of 2022, and I wanted to reminisce a little, look back, and review some of my favorite collection pickups. I'd also really love to hear what your most prized editions were this year. It's often not what people might think. As you'll see in this video, I suspect some of you will be surprised with the things that I sort of consider the most interesting. That makes it fun to share. Finance and drama and Magic 30th and all that stuff. Yeah, that's good, but at the end of the day, it's about the collections and the hobby, and so I wanted to share this, and please do share your own in the comments. I'll be reading and responding. Okay, so here are the top 6 items that I think summarize 2022 for me. To start, I do have some Alpha cards, but believe it or not, this is the only Alpha in the countdown. Okay, the Vesuvan Doppelganger. I love this card. I cannot get enough of her. And for a very long time, the Doppelganger was just inaccessible to me, sort of as elusive as Shivan Dragon or Demonic Hordes, or, the kind I'm talking about, the real classics, the very iconic cards that just everybody loves. And so the price of these cards is really high, and the price is generally supported. But for whatever reason, after I started this channel, I began doing some interactions with viewers, buying collections from them and things like that. And for whatever reason, multiple different viewers happened to be looking to sell clean copies of Miss Doppelganger. And I jumped. I had to jump, and I got a hold of a whole bunch. But anyway, yeah, this makes the list. Firstly, like I said, it's just one of my favorite cards, and I love having a bunch of them. But also, it does add a little bit of extra meaning that these came from viewers of the channel. And, those interactions have just always been sort of special. It usually comes along with a story, and, very often they're collectors. I'm a collector. It's just a different feeling than buying it from a store or even a dealer. But anyway, yeah, so this is number 6 on my best editions of 2022. Number 5, foil Birds of Paradise. So last year, I had something of a renewed interest in vintage foils. I don't have a ton of them, really. I'm deep on a couple of cards, 3 or 4 cards I'm deep on, but that's it. I got about halfway through a clean foil Torment set, but overall it's just too frustrating to get these things raw. You guys know I prefer raw cards. I just bought so many, especially with the Torment. I bought so many near mint cards, and they come and the black is all clouded white, and they just look terrible. So I gave up. Ultimately, I gave up collecting these, and I ended it with this. So this is sort of the capstone on that part of my collection. And it's just a beautiful card. Now, as you might imagine, it's the surface that really hits the grade here, and then one of the corners I think has a little something. That, I guess. CGC, their grading is quite brutal, but I appreciate that. In any case, 7.5 on the surface, and that is for clouding. Although, it's not that bad. The eye appeal is really solid. And man, it's just such a beautiful card. The artwork is awesome. And the rainbow of colors in the bird is also visible in the foiling. And so there's just something about this card that's really special. There are a handful of collectors, I understand, who have cornered this market, and it just makes this card difficult to get. So I did manage to get a hold of one, and I was really thrilled. So that's number 5 on my countdown. Number 4. Probably won't see this one coming. Vintage foils is not the only kind of foil that I'm sometimes interested in. But these guys right here, I was actually super pumped to get a hold of these. These are just a couple of years old, 2019, I think. And it's just an example of sort of really rare, exotic kinds of cards. Now, I don't really recommend investing in this kind of stuff. For me, these are collection pieces only. And yeah, I honestly don't know the whole story with these. This is they were released in Japan when the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty set came out, and it's from artist Takuma Yokota. I hope I'm saying that correctly. The illustrator of the manga Destroy All Humankind, They Can't Be Regenerated. And they're rare as hell, especially in foil. And they come in these variants. So the 3 at the bottom here sort of look like regular Magic cards. These 3 are sort of more of a full art. And then these 3 at the top mimic the manga book cover, the writing going down in the yellow. And they're just so cool. And they're out there, but like I said, they're just really hard to get. So it was fun. It was fun getting them. And what am I up to? That was number 4, right? Okay. Number 3. This guy. So, speaking of rare, I don't have all that much in the misprint category. The really cool pieces were sort of absorbed by collectors, like Tavis King, say, the misprint guy. There's a bunch of these people with just awesome misprint collections. But I do have a handful, and this is probably the best one I have. But, there's a handful of incorrectly backed cards, but the Harry Potter ones are just harder to find. So I had the opportunity to get this one, and I jumped at it, and I just think that's so cool. It's just such a weird thing. And so this is one of just a handful of misprint type cards that I have. And I was very happy to add this in 2022. All right, number 2. This is another category I don't have all that much of. Altars. So generally speaking, altars aren't my thing. I don't collect them in mass, but I do have a bunch that I just love. If I see something that really speaks to me, I'll go for it. As before, these are more collection pieces than investment pieces, and that's mainly because of the liquidity problem and difficulty authenticating. I mean, I don't know how big of an issue that was sort of in years past, but I suspect it's going to be something that gets worse going forward. In any case, I'll admit that the upside on some of these is, like something that's a true 1 of 1. The upside on that is probably quite high. But, between the liquidity and the authenticity thing, it's just not something I go all that deep in. So, this one's very rare. Joel Mick actually told me that Kaja doesn't do altars anymore. I don't know why, but the ones that are out there are particularly rare, and there aren't any new ones showing up, so I understand. Don't quote me on that. But I love Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a point of pride that my 4-year-old's favorite song is This Is Halloween. And so, yeah, this one was another I couldn't pass up. Came across it in unusual circumstances and went for it. And that is number 2 on my countdown. And number 1, my favorite addition to the collection this year, and also my most recent, is this Demonic Tutor Artist Proof. altered by Doug Schuler. A little hard to capture on the camera. Those of you who've watched some of my early videos will know that Demonic Tutor is one of my favorite cards. I have a global set of Demonic Tutor as well as a few others. And I have every printing. I have really nice condition for the vintage stuff. I can't reach them from here. But most of the vintage stuff I have a 9.5. I do have the Pop 1 Revised 10. It's my favorite card in the game if I had to boil it down to just one, but somebody pointed out to me that I didn't have an artist proof. And I honestly don't know how I had missed that. And so that comment just stuck with me and nagged at me. And, you know, I started scouring online to try and find one, and there was just nothing out there. This was months ago. So, you know, maybe some came by and I missed them, but I've had alerts up and I check periodically. Never saw anything. And then, just in the last month, this guy popped up. A seller seems to be unloading a big artist proof collection. He listed this, some really cool beta proofs, things like that. But I had to pull the trigger. This, I suppose, fully completes my Demonic Tutor set. So, yeah, that's cool. Number 1 on the countdown. And that wraps up 2022. So thank you all for following my journey. I appreciate you. I suspect 2023 is going to be another doozy of a year in terms of economics and therefore collectibles. You know, hopefully I'm wrong, but I do sort of worry that we're still 3 to 6 quarters away from things turning around. But, you know, life goes on, so fill yours with worthwhile endeavors, with friends, with love. Try to see people in the most charitable light, not the least charitable. And remember that remember what this hobby is about. It's not about Hasbro. It's not about the reserve list. It's not about Mark Rosewater. It's about the cards. You know, cards we care about, the nostalgia, the history. It's about collecting what you love. And so, yeah, with that, Happy New Year. I'll see you all on the other side. Thanks for watching today's video. If you're enjoying my content and you want to help me keep this channel going, and you happen to be in possession of a treasure map, then go ahead and send that to me, and I will use it to discover the hidden treasure, and I will use that to finance the continuation of this channel. See you next time.